It's the 2K Sports pregame show.
Greetings, NBA fans. Welcome to 2K Sports. I'm your host, Ernie Johnson, and seated beside me, Kenny the Jet Smith and the Diesel, Shaquille O'Neal. Our featured matchup tonight in Chicago, where the Bulls will be going up against the Indiana Pacers. For Indiana, 6 wins in their last 10 games. They'd like to play even better. Tonight, a chance to add to their win total.
On the road and hungry for a win against an Eastern Conference rival, the Indiana Pacers are ready to go. Well, the holidays always bring us some incredible NBA action. And that's certainly what we have in store for us today. This is Kevin Harlan with Clark Kellogg and Greg Anthony. Take a look at the Bulls. What a story right now for these guys. Win after win. It's been a phenomenal stretch.
Kevin, you know, it's been a very impressive run for this team. However, you've got to realize they have not played the top dogs in the league. Nonetheless, whenever you can put together consecutive wins or a good stretch of basketball, you deserve some credit for that.
Yeah, it won't matter to them that a lot of their wins have come against teams that might not be considered among the league's elite, but all they can do is beat who's ever in front of them, and that's what they've done here.
We've got a chance here to set the floor, courtesy of Gatorade, all fueled up and ready to go for this one. And so in the game for the Pacers, Paul George is out there with Portis. Then there's Hill, then it's George Hill, and it's Ellis at the 2 spot.
Tell you what, Monte Ellis is one of the best second-round draft picks of all time in the league, not just the last decade. I mean, this guy was a 5-star recruit out of high school, committed to college, but changed his mind and entered the draft, where the Warriors stole him with the 40th pick in 2005.
Now here is Hill, following the miss by Derrick Rose. Pass to Hill, rejected by Gasol. 3 on 3. Here's Butler, and foul called as he misses. He'll go to the line and shoot 2. That one on George.
Yeah, easy call.
Yeah, you could hear the smack all the way over here where we are.
Getting back to Monte Ellis. Had he gone to college for even 1 year, I think he would have probably been a top 10 pick. But you look at what he's brought to the table over his career. Points and assists, rebounds, steals, playmaking. His production has been astounding.
You know, he's one of those unsung players. He never gets voted to the All-Star game. Never gets spoken about as one of the top guards in this league. But you look at the body of work and you ask his competitors throughout this league, and they're going to tell you that guy's as tough as they get.
Good on both.
And the Pacers just missed out on the playoffs last year and would have to settle for 9th in the East. Hard for a team that has been so dominant in the East over recent seasons.
Now here's George. Turned in an outstanding game against Atlanta. To the middle. Here's Hill. The shot's good on the assist by George.
And we always talk about making your teammate better. That assist was right on target.
And for the Pacers against the East, they actually played the rest of the conference. Greg, very well, ended with a 28-24 record, Clark, against the East.
The only team, Kevin, in the East with a winning record against the rest of the conference and not to make the playoffs. Only went 10-19 against the playoff teams in the conference.
Lead pass was put in just the right spot.
Oh, that is just weak defense there. I'm pretty sure that was not the plan to give him those kind of baskets at the hoop.
Now here's Rose, coming off a stellar performance against Toronto. Rebound Hill. The Pacers have gone 2 for 4 from the field so far today. Ellis goes in. Here in the first, just under 2.5 minutes played so far. Hill, no good. For Chicago, they won their last contest, that game against the Raptors.
And the way they attacked the basket in that game was unreal. I mean, after a while, the defenders seemed to just wave the white flag.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, that's what will happen when a team continues to attack the basket and come away with layups. The defense tends to get demoralized and deflated.
Here is Hill after Pau Gasol's bucket. Pick up by Hill. The pass to Portis. And a foul on the shot. He'll go to the stripe for 2.
Yeah, good job to take him right at the knee.
Yeah, really left him no choice there, Greg. I mean, he had to foul and keep him from converting the easy bucket.
This is his first trip to the line tonight. No good on that one. Last season, the Bulls were a tough matchup, solid margin of victory for them, and never looked overwhelmed, Clark.
Yeah, you know what? They're a team that's even-keeled, the type of team that can win anytime they take the floor. They have a system that works and good talent, that actually excellent talent to make it special, and that combination is a winning one.
And he's good on the second.
And you talk about the Bulls being able to beat anybody in the league. They did. They did that last season. One of only 3 teams to register 1 win against every other team in the league back in 2015.
And that one's good by Butler.
I don't know. Maybe they're still working out the kinks on D, because that clearly was a breakdown.
Earlier, Doris Burke spoke with head coach Fred Hoiberg. What'd you find out, DB?
And of course, he said a big key for them will be trying to minimize Monta Ellis's impact offensively. He added, he's one of the best in the league at blowing by his defender and finishing at the rim. We've got to force him left, and then at the other end, make sure we go at him defensively and see that he expends some energy there as well. Kevin, defense not Ellis's strong suit seems like a smart plan.
And as always, Doris, thank you.
And, you know, getting back to that point about the Bulls beating every team in the league, only the Spurs and Warriors were the other teams to do that. Goes to show just how tough last year's Bulls squad was.
Portis. Yes, and it's Ellis picking up the assist.
You know, they've scored several times already here in the first quarter down low. I like that.
It's like a running game in football. When you can pound the basketball inside, it also allows you to control the team's transition.
And that one's good.
Defensive breakdown there, no doubt about it. I mean, he's a guy you have to be focused on defensively.
Rose against Hill. Kicks it to Ellis. Pass to Portis. Clock at 6. With some arc, and Gasol sends it back. The shot by George, no good.
You know what, though? Sometimes you can be too open. I think it may have surprised him, and that's why he missed. And being that close to the hoop, I thought he had enough room to finish that one.
Ellis, the pass to Hill. Pick up by Hill. Hill kicks to Ellis. It's back to Hill. The shot. They get the rebound. Nice shot by Portis. Portis has got 5.
Where's the box out? Some easy second chance opportunities there.
Those kinds of mistakes drive me crazy and will absolutely derail a team's chance to win.
And that one's good.
And the lead goes right back. What a seesaw affair we've got going on.
This game's right there for the taking, but neither team can quite grab hold of it. Like a slippery bar of soap there. Somebody's got to take charge here.
Here's Ellis, following the score by Derrick Rose. And George, here we go. That doesn't go either for George.
That's not a sight you see very often. I mean, he has a great feel for that jump shot, especially when he's open.
Here's Rose. Shot misses. Excellent D there from Hill. On the wing, George. Good, the assist goes to Hill. George has got 5 now. Guys back and forth this first half.
Well, 5 lead changes early on, guys, as we grapple back and forth.
And this could continue to go back and forth the entire way.
And the first time out of the game called for Chicago. The Pacers beat them last time when these two teams met in Indiana.
And their last time against this club, they really fell short at the free throw line.
Yeah, and that was the difference, really. I mean, you think about it, they didn't knock them down at the same rate, and that hurt them.
giving you a look at the small forward position and the players with the most rebounds per game this year. Paul George on top.
You know, there are some things he does really well on the perimeter, but in the paint, his rebounding is as impressive as anything else he does on the floor.
I think that's one of his calling cards, the rebounding, and it's the feistiness in the paint that allows him to do such a good job, and they're battling those big guys down low. I mean, I think it's really what sets him apart from other small forwards.
Now, here's Butler. 14 points from him the last game against Toronto. Drummond with a screen on George. Charity stripe shot. Turner with the steal. And even 3-on-3 break. And George gets it to go. Now it's a 4-point Pacer lead.
I like the way he's not forcing anything, taking advantage of what the defense has given him. He's been a key contributor for them in this quarter.
Everyone understands the importance of Paul George to the ball club. That's why taking his offensive game to the next level would be so beneficial.
Yeah, he has all the physical tools, the instincts, and obviously he has made those strides. But if he wants to become a top 5 guy, he's still got a little bit of work to do in terms of his game.
Now here is Smith. Paul George unable to get his shot to go, and he gets the bucket.
I mean, no one really near him, but still he's able to knock down the off-balance shot.
Outside Hill. There's a screen. Turner dishes to George. And Gibson sends it back. And the wide open shot from Stuckey. From out on the wing, he knocks it down. And the Pacers lead by 4.
Well, you have to like their work on the boards, Kevin, particularly here to start the game.
Yeah, I like the way they're setting the tone. They're really playing with a lot of energy here at the start.
And guys, Andre Drummond has made quite an impression in the early stages of his career. Clark, you were just talking about that. Greg, I don't think anyone felt he would have such an impact this fast.
Yeah, I mean, he's already a mountain of a man among boys. I mean, it's hard to believe when you look at this guy out there. He's only 22 years old.
First free throw is good.
Going back to Andre Drummond, some say there aren't any true centers entering the NBA these days. But I look at Andre, I look at DeMarcus Cousins, Joel Embiid, Karl Anthony Towns, and I think to myself, what are these people talking about?
Here's what Chicago's going with right now. Darrell Wright's checked in for Smith, and Tony Snell subbed in for Butler.
And talking about Andre Drummond, I remember when he fell to number 9 on draft day. All sorts of experts were making excuses as to why. But even then, there was this eerie feeling that some teams had made a huge mistake in passing on it. And that feeling turned out to be correct.
Bulls making a switch here. Splitters checked in. Now here is Hill. He's another guy who had a stellar performance in that win against Atlanta. Here's Turner. That's tipped. Wright against Hill. Wright the pass to Snell. Excellent D there from Hill.
Well defended, though, and he's not someone who handles that kind of pressure very well.
It's Hill on the wing. Goes back up, and Turner with the lay-in.
They've done well at taking advantage of some late defensive rotations and getting the ball into the paint.
Clearly, they've been the aggressors thus far when it comes to attacking the interior in this first half.
Clarkson kicks to Snell. The feed to Clarkson. Unloads from 13. And the shot no good, a bit short. Last outing for Indiana. They won that game against Atlanta.
And what a heck of a performance for them, particularly offensively. I mean, there were stretches of that game where everything seemed to be falling.
Ball movement was superb, majestic, and they got good shots and they made them. So it wasn't a surprise, but the ball movement was the key. How in the world did they let him get that wide open?
Indiana's gone just 1 of 4 from three-point range here in the first. Stuckey dishes to Turner. Allen with the screen for Turner. Wants to get it to Buttinger and does. Right against Stuckey. Score the basket, his second of 2 attempts.
And that's his strong suit, the ability to find his way through the D and finish at the rim.
Clarkson kicks to Gibson, feeds it to Wright. The dish now to Clarkson. Another 3 for Chicago.
That's 2 bombs in a row from long range.
Let's face it, the defense is a step slow. You've got to take away the airspace.
Now here is Hill. He hasn't yet put up any points in this one. And it's Budinger in the corner. Puts it up from 17. The shot by Turner, no good.
High quality shot, just a little off there with the release.
And Greg, that has him S-H-H-E, shaking his head. Tough miss that time.
Clarkson, and unable there to get the go-ahead bucket. Indiana leading. Outside Hill. He kicks it to Turner. It's back to Hill. Just 5 on the clock. Off the pick. And the jumper is on the mark. Hill's got his first 2 points of the night.
You can't afford to give him that kind of a look.
Well, you know, he came off a good screen, but still, as a defender, you've got to do a better job of fighting over and through that.
Time called here. The Bulls decide to talk it over.
And guys, no doubt George Hill had it rough last season. He missed the first 28 games with that left knee injury, came back for 5, then missed another 11 games before his season got going. But you know what? He had one of his most productive years from that point on.
Mirotic is checked in for the Bulls. Mirotic, the screen. Misses off the left iron. And getting back to George Hill, what a second half of the season he had. He tore up several key categories, Clark.
Yeah, he was bogged down by injuries early in the season. Came back to average career highs in points, rebounds, and assists, partly because he was finally treated and looked to as a go-to guy, and he thrived in that role.
And Rodney Stuckey, a combo guard out of Eastern Washington, played a big role for the Pacers a season ago.
You were talking about Stuckey. He did play well in his first year with the Pacers. Clark, he helped them as a starter and off the bench.
Yeah, really had his most efficient year scoring the ball to date. And more than his scoring and what he brought on the court, his presence in the locker room and professionalism. You talk to the people around the Pacers, he was a breath of fresh air on a team that has a number of fresh air guys.
Outside Hill. Turner with the screen for Hill. Shot off the screen. Count that one. Hill's got his second basket of the night.
Great job of utilizing that screen and finding space to knock down the jumper. Good basketball.
And that does it for the first quarter. It's the Pacers leading by 7. They talked to Monte Ellis. He says he feeds off his doubters. He loves.
I think I had that all my life. I always had to prove somebody wrong, and you know, still to this day. That's just the competitiveness that I believe my oldest brother built into me when I was little.
And Monte Ellis is still trying to prove people wrong now in Dallas after their quick exit from the playoffs a season ago. Clark, it's been a decade in the league now for this very talented guard.
And you know, that kind of relentless determination is really something Monte is known for, and one of the reasons he has been around for 10 years in the NBA as a consistently good player and lethal scorer.
Now the second quarter getting ready to start up. And when you consider how the Pacers are doing, guys, what do you think?
You can tell the point of emphasis has been to get to the offensive glass.
Yep, and they've set the tone here early with the hustle they've come out with.
Rose is the 1 with Butler is the 2. Pau Gasol is out there with Mirotic, and it's Splitter in its center. That's the 5 out there for the Bulls. Rose gets to Gasol. No good. Excellent D there from Hill.
Another rebound hauled in. They're hitting the glass with a lot of passion.
Guys, that's been the key to their lead. I mean, simply put, the effort they've displayed on the glass has been the difference.
Stuckey drives inside. Ellis wide open. Rebound by the Bulls.
When he's wide open like that, he'll rarely miss those.
Well, they're passing to Gasol. The shot's good on the assist by Butler. Gasol's got his second basket.
Outstanding entry pass there. He knew exactly where to go with the ball.
Ellis against Butler. Rodney Stuckey on the wing. Takes a three. No luck. And Chicago will go the other way with the ball. Next step for them, the Knicks coming out here to play. That game will conclude a 3-game homestand. And that one's good. And it's 8 points for Rose.
Offensively, he can be the engine that drives them at any given time.
Rose against Stuckey. Here's Ellis. The shot goes in. First of the night. He's 1 for 3 to start the game.
A nice move to create a gap there in the defense and get to the bucket.
Rose dishes to Gasol. George against Rose. Outside, George. Shot off the pick. So the whistle blows on the shot and 2 free throws for the contact right there. That one on Rose.
And we all know about Paul George and his injury while with Team USA. I mean, he has still said that he would consider playing international ball.
For George to be eager to go back and represent the U.S. in international play is a brave move.
Yeah, I think, Kevin, a lot of it might be that he just wants to put that in the past and move on. And sometimes you do that best by confronting things head on. The only way to have that be the past is to keep playing for his country.
Here's what Chicago's going with right now. Gibson comes in for Splitter. And Smith subbed in for Mirotic. And that one goes in. 2 from the line that time. Bulls trail by 7. Rose kicks to Gasol. Ellis against Butler. And so he draws the foul on the shot. A trip to the line to shoot 2.
Really impressed with the way Jimmy Butler last season made big strides in his game, going from a supporting role player to someone you can build your team around.
And Jimmy Butler had the career highs across the board last season. Won the Most Improved Player of the Year award. Really picking up his production in his 4th season.
You know, we had seen the flashes of potential in Butler before. Last season, he sustained great play and really took everything to the next level.
Both shots good from the stripe.
He's a dead eye at the line, fellas. Just call him automatic. He doesn't miss many of those.
So the Pacers call timeout, their first of the game.
You know, for the Pacers last season, with Paul George being out for most of the season, they knew it would be a struggle. They would go into lengthy dry spells that made it hard for them to keep pace in the East, in part because they missed Paul George's all-around brilliance and his offense.
I was able to listen in on what Frank Vogel had to say to his team. He made it clear that their offense needed to run through Paul George. Coach asked him directly to take the reins of their offense. He wants him to have a huge impact at that end of the floor for the rest of this game. Well, Coach not wasting any time in tweaking the game plan. We'll see if it makes a difference as we approach halftime, Kevin.
Thank you, Doris. And stolen by Butler. And here's the fast break. Rose leading the way. They get it back. Pacers leading by 5. And the foul on Derrick Rose. That's foul number 2 for him.
I mean, I like the call. I thought the defense was just there a little late.
Yeah, it looked like it. I mean, he kind of slid underneath as he got to the spot, too.
Drummond's checked in for Pau Gasol. Stuckey against Rose. Nobody near George. Good on the three-point shot. George has got 12.
I mean, he was great in his last game, Clark, and clearly he has not lost that love and feel.
And Drummond kicks to Gibson. Drummond a screen. Rose. And down in the low post. It goes. Rose has got 4 points now in the quarter.
Timely passing leads to assists, and that's been the recipe for success.
Everybody on the same page, completely in sync. Tremendous communication and awareness.
Oh, and a fast break for the Bulls. That one falls through. It's his 6th make from the floor this game. Now 6 for 10. Indiana leading by 4. George with the screen on Butler. Ellis the pass to Hill. The shot is off. Good D by Drummond. Down low. Here's Rose. It's good. The assist that time from Smith. 14 points for Rose.
They're finding lanes to the hoop now with consistency. 5 buckets in a row from the paint.
And on the flip side, Greg, the defenders have to show more fight on the interior. They've got to offer more resistance here.
Stuckey drives inside. And good on the basket. Book it. And it's 8 points for Hill.
His shooting has been outstanding. Definitely one of the reasons they're up in this game.
Gibson with the screen on Stuckey. Rose dishes to Gibson. Here's the floater. Butler against Stuckey. Dishes it to Ellis. Shot clock at 6. High post shot. The rebound by Gibson. Bulls trail by 4. Fast break. Here comes Chicago. Here's Smith. Shot from 12. He clangs that one off the back iron, and down it falls. Gibson's got his first bucket in this one. And George kicks to Hill. It's Drummond with the rebound. Bulls have gone 7 for 10 here in the second quarter. They'd like to keep up that nice pace. Gibson down low. He's guarded by Hill. No good from Gibson. Indiana's gone 1 of 2 on 3-pointers here in the second quarter so far. George sets a screen for Ellis. Outside, George. He scores his 5th field goal. He's taken 9 shots to get those 5. Chicago trailing here. Outside Rose. Gibson with the screen on Stuckey. Rose passes to Gibson.
Now this is why the breakaway rim was invented. For plays just like that.
Well, he almost brought the whole thing down, Clark, by hanging on that long.
Yeah, he did.
I tell you what, though, great dunk, and this is even a better game we got going on right now.
And the highlight reel replay brought to you by Kia. Good stuff on that Kia Slam Cam.
Wow, he got whacked on that one. Shouldn't be much debate there.
Blatant contact. Straightforward call. Simple.
And now we'll get perspective here on how the hustle game has been going for Indiana.
They've come out in attack mode on the defensive end. They've applied pressure and forcing turnovers.
You know, they've also shown some real tenacity here early on tonight, and it's paid off with a lot of second chance points.
No wasted trips at all. They're taking care of business at the line.
One way to protect the lead, knock down those free throws, and 100% free throwing for the quarter, that's superb.
Jarrell Wright's checked in for Chicago. Jordan Clarkson comes in for Derrick Rose. And so Stuckey nails both of them.
And injuries once again were a central theme of the Bulls season last year. Losing Rose was one thing, but then having Jimmy Butler lose a lot of time put them in such a tough spot.
It's taken away by Stuckey. Here's Hill. And good coming on the assist by Rodney Stuckey. Stuckey's got 3 assists in the game. And for the Bulls and injuries, a lot of teams plan for these type of things. There's only so much Clark can do to mitigate losing your starting backcourt.
But I tell you, great respect and admiration for the Bulls for how they fought through the difficulty. I mean, their front court did what they could. The injuries, once again, I thought turned the Bulls from championship contenders to just a playoff team.
It's back to Hill. No good from outside.
No other way to put it. Just a poor shooting performance for him. But luckily, his teammates have picked up the slack.
Clarkson kicks to Gibson. He dishes it to Smith. Just 5 to shoot. The shot is off. And Indiana will go the other way with it.
A good board there, Kevin, but overall they're getting slightly out-rebounded.
And that's a good place to start if you're going to try to find your way back into this game. Get to work on the glass.
Stuckey can't get it to go.
Boy, from my angle, it looked like it was in the bottom of the net. Looked good from here.
Yeah, I'm about as shocked as you are, Clark.
Screen by Smith. Drummond with a screen on Hill. Shoots off the screen. Clarkson dishes to Drummond. Score the basket. Nice shot after missing his first attempt.
I love the ball movement there. He put that on a silver platter. Just served him up.
Turner with a screen for Hill. He feeds it to Turner. Good, and it's Hill picking up the assist. Hill's got 3 assists tonight.
Boy, that was a rugged screen set there, fellas, and the defense didn't even try to go through that one.
Passes it to Smith. Launches it. They get the rebound. Here's Drummond. Soft touch off the glass. Drummond's got 5 now.
And that's a great play on the backboard for him. I mean, it's what we expect. All his second chance points do not come by accident.
And it's Hill penetrating. That's good. 8 points for him.
You know, he's had better starts, obviously, but he's shaking it off here in the second.
Time called here. The Bulls decide to talk it over. In addition to going over the game plan and making whatever necessary adjustments have to be made, Greg, this timeout also the time for players to get rehydrated or hydrate for the first time with some Gatorade. Plenty of basketball still to be played here, and they have to get recharged.
That's a great point. Without proper hydration, a player can completely run out of gas down the stretch of a game. And that's something that none of these guys can afford to have happen. If you're going to battle all the way to the finish, you have got to be hydrated. Been for him, averaging 12 points, 3 assists, and 3 rebounds. And he's really been pulling his weight. He's had a hand in some big plays here recently.
Yeah, in every way, I think he's doing a much better job, and the numbers certainly support that.
Here's what Chicago's going with right now. Splitters checked in for Andre Drummond. Mirotic comes in for Taj Gibson. And Tony Snell subbed in for J.R. Smith. Mirotic, the pass to Splitter. The rebound by Turner. Turner's got 3 rebounds now in this one.
They've done their part here to run down a lot of missed shots. A solid rebounding effort.
Yeah, energy has been the difference, and they're fighting for every loose ball and giving as good as they get on the inside.
And right, here we go. Now, here's Clarkson. Defense is right there. Lets it fly. And it comes off the front of the rim. Indiana leading by 6. Stuckey kicks to Buddingham. To the inside. And stolen by Wright. He's all alone. Here's Snell. Finishes the break with a slam.
Hey, guys, that's a big swing right there. I mean, taking the steal and then turning it into 2 easy points on the dunk.
No telling how important that sequence could turn out to be.
And, guys, in a game this snug, Moments like that are the ones we usually look back on at the end as a difference maker.
And started hot, and he's only gotten harder.
Into the Bulls, shooting the ball beautifully in the second quarter. They're at 55% from the field.
You know, I can think of one way to describe George Hill. It's the culmination of several attributes. I mean, he comes from the school of Popovich, plays under control, always in the right place defensively. The way I describe him is just steady.
Stuckey outside. Just 5 to shoot. And it's Chicago with the rebound.
The shooting numbers just aren't there yet in the quarter.
Guys, they're looking for a way to score here.
Yeah, they've had a tough time getting the lid off the basket so far.
Now, here's Clarkson. He's guarded by Stuckey.
And they're controlling the boards, Kevin. That's +5 in that category.
And guys, you know that rebounding is a huge part, a huge component of winning games. It's not a glamour stat, but it's necessary if you're going to be a winning team.
Wright dishes to Clarkson. Fires the three. He got it up that time, but it wouldn't fall for him. And we've reached halftime in this one. Pacers lead by 7. And a chance now to send you over to Doris Burke, standing by on the sideline. Doris?
All right, Kevin, here with Coach Frank Vogel. And, Coach, things were going your way early in this ball game, but you let them climb back in it. What broke down?
Well, we started the game exhibiting championship-level passing, which is what we're preaching. We got a lot of good looks, got an early lead. We didn't pay attention to their strength. That's how they got back in the game.
Coach, thank you so much. Over to you guys.
All right, Doris, thank you. And we'll be back after halftime for the start of the third quarter.
And now, the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Ernie Johnson here again with Kenny Smith and Shaquille O'Neal. We welcome you back to the 2K Sports Halftime Show. Paul George taking care of business in this one. He had 14 points, 2 assists, and 1 rebound. The first 2 quarters went very well for him. And Shaq, what did you see out there from the Pacers?
Well, what's really shifted the game in their favor has been their rebounding. They got a good edge on the boards, and that's a product of their hard work. All 5 guys been battling, putting everything they had to fight on the glass. That needs to remain the focus for 2 more quarters if they want to hang on to their lead.
And Kenny, let's get your input on the Bulls.
It looked like they were shooting threes blindfolded. Sometimes you could get cold, but that was atrocious. It was scary. But they also looked scattered out there, and I think that disorganization was the main issue for them missing those shots. They need to establish themselves better into a better rhythm in the second half and avoid relying so heavily on the three-point shot.
And now, folks, it's just about time for the third quarter to begin. We will see you after the final buzzer.
Now the third quarter will have to get going. You look at Paul George in this game, guys, he's been everywhere.
I know we've said this many times before, but what a great first half. Just an offensive juggernaut.
And, you know, in the end, I wouldn't be surprised if we're talking about what a great second half he had, guys. I mean, he can usually keep it going for all 4 quarters.
On the court right now for the Pacers. Portis is out there with Hill. Then there's Hill. Then it's Paul George. And it's Ellis at the shooting guard position. Pulls up, high post. And it's Ellis with the rebound. Indiana leading by 10. Teardrop shot. Hill, no good.
Now, nice work there to contest the finish inside.
You know, they got the shot they wanted, but his defense, deterred them from those plans.
Pau Gasol was the number 3 pick back in 2001. He managed to average 18 and 9 his first season, was Rookie of the Year, became a perennial All-Star. There's no way his younger brother Mark, who was a second-round pick,
gentlemen,
could ever match up to that, right? Not so fast, people. Mark's pretty good, too.
And he can't get the first one. Talking about Pau and brother Mark, both of them were excellent last season. The difference is that Pau has always been considered a great prospect, so detractors are much harder on him when they see cracks, I think, Greg, in his game.
Yeah, you know, for Marc Gasol, it can only exceed expectations because they started out so low. I'd simply say that if I had to pick between one or the other for best career, I'd do everything I could to pick both.
Good way to get out of it. Good answer.
Superb playmaking from Monta Ellis. That dish was right on time.
Rose against Hill. From 13, hits some rim on the way in, and the bucket's good. 16 points for Derrick Rose. Pacers leading by 9. Here's George, and there's the whistle. Fouled hard on the shot. He'll go to the line. J.R. Smith picks one up.
George having a fantastic game. He's got 16 points. He's done a little bit of work behind the arc. He's got a pair of three-pointers.
And you know what? The defenders have that in the back of their minds now. They'll be on him a little tighter.
He'll take his third and fourth free throw shots of the game right here. The first one falls. Well, the Pacers, despite all their injuries from last season, were right in the playoff hunt until the very end. Had a chance, in fact, GA, on the last day to sneak in, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, they needed a Brooklyn loss to go along with them winning that last game. Ultimately, though, it wasn't in the cards for them, and they ended a game out of the postseason.
And so he hits both.
And, you know, the Pacers had made the playoffs in each of the last 4 seasons prior to last year's miss. Hard for a team that was coming off of back-to-back conference finals appearances to stomach that. But with the injuries, they'll be better and back in the playoffs next year, I'm sure. That shot becomes effortless for him when the D is so relaxed. They got to get more intense.
Now let's the pass to Hill. Kicks it to George. Hill, a screen on Smith. George. Rebound Andre Drummond. Drummond's got 6 rebounds here tonight. At the elbow, it's Gasol. And the Bulls tack on 2 more.
And really, it's going to be more of a reload than a rebuild situation for the Pacers. You would have to imagine their goal isn't just to get back to the playoffs, but to get back to being a conference final participant.
And George kicks to Hill. It's Hill on the wing. To the paint. Oh, and that one, no question, powered it down.
Boy, he threw out some punishment with that 2-hand throwdown.
And Clark, now's the time to do it. Continue to attack that rim.
Rose dishes to Gasol. It's stolen by Hill. Gasol passes to Rose. Back to Gasol. And the powerful one-handed slam.
A splendid pass that time by Rose.
And the Pacers call time here. It's incredible to think that Pau Gasol last year set a career high in points in a game for as long as he's played. He had that 46-point game in January.
Yeah, that's 46 points for Pau to go with 18 rebounds. I mean,
right.
You rarely see a player of his age putting up a career high like that.
Who have been dead on target from the floor over the course of the past 10 games. Derrick Rose third.
Some remarkable shooters in that group. I mean, you know that when you're seeing those types of numbers at the point guard position, you're talking about some very intelligent and patient players.
In addition to being unbelievably gifted shooters. I mean, these guys have some of the smoothest, sweetest strokes in the NBA, which means they have some of the best strokes in the world.
Ellis outside. Shot clock at 6. The dive for the ball. And out of bounds as the Bulls gain possession. Chicago. 6-point game. And Drummond kicks to Smith. Rose against Hill. That's good. And that's 18 points for Derrick Rose.
I mean, already hot coming into the game. Is it fair to say he's hotter?
Now George. 18 points for him. It's Hill on the wing. 6 to shoot. Indiana needs to get a shot off. And stolen by Drummond. Fast break. Here comes Chicago. And with that shot, the Indiana lead is cut down to just 2 points in the bucket from Derrick Rose.
Great anticipation and awareness to come up with the steal and trigger the fast break.
And now just a one-possession game thanks to that quick hitter. Outstanding play in the open court. And he's trying to shoot his way out of it. You know, they have the lead, but honestly, I think it might help to be a little bit more selective. And there was a question of whether or not Derrick Rose would be able to get back to his former self. At times last season, you could see him back in that MVP form.
Okay, gentlemen, 2 shots. 2 shots.
The first one falls. And with Rose again, he showed flashes last season of his level of play, Clark, before the injury.
Yeah, exactly. And you hate to see any player go down with injuries, especially a talent like Derrick Rose. He still needs to show that he can regain that high level of NBA play for an entire season. I think that's just a matter of time, Kevin.
That one drops. He ties it up. Derrick Rose, unbelievable spirit. We know about his toughness, has fought through injuries of all kinds that might cause a lesser competitor to hang up his sneakers.
And competitor, that's the word, Kevin. I mean, he was impossible to outcompete at the high school level, the college level, and now in the pros.
5 to shoot. They get it again. Bulls have gotten 6 of their 7 shots to go down in this quarter. What a fantastic start to the half. Smith outside for the lead. And the rebound goes to the Pacers. Portis has got his 3rd rebound on the night.
And, you know, back to D. Rose for a moment. He drives the lane now as hard as he did before the injury. It's a level of fearlessness that only a few guys possess. And it's not teachable. You either have it or you don't.
I'm not sure who was supposed to be on him that possession. I mean, apparently neither did the defenders. That's a surprise. I mean, really out of character for him to miss when the defense is not right up on him.
Ellis, that's good.
And, you know, back to D. Rose. He grew up in a brutally dangerous neighborhood on Chicago's south side. Some of that fearlessness, that competitiveness he exhibits was learned early on out of necessity.
Gasol setting the pick for Butler. An easy layup after coming off the pick. Butler's got 11 points.
4 of their last 5 makes came off of a high-quality shot inside.
Textbook. Really, when you look at how they're playing, they are having their way down low.
Hill kicks to Ellis. Pass to Hill from 11 feet away. Can't hit. Good D by Gasol.
And, you know, coaches just love players who they can count on to give that effort defensively.
And he clearly is one of those guys, Greg. We saw it right there. Nice work forcing that miss.
Butler dishes to Gibson. There's the bucket. Good. Gibson's got the game tied up here for the Bulls.
And he can time his passes so perfectly. Wow, what an assist.
Ellis kicks to George. The pass to Hill. 3-pointer. Oh, he got hacked on the 3-pointer. He'll head to the line. Well, for Jordan Hill, something wonderful happened to him last season. The breakthrough he'd been waiting for on his 6th year.
Yeah, Kevin, you know, it had to do, and I think correlated with him getting a chance to start games, and it blew up for him from there. Posted career-high averages across the board.
3 shots. 3 shots.
He's off on the first.
And getting back to Jordan Hill, everyone had been waiting for this. I mean, greater activity, more aggressiveness, and he puts up career highs in points, rebounds, and assists.
Catching up on the changes for Chicago. White, he's checked in for Smith, and it's Clarkson in for Derrick Rose. Turner's checked in for Indiana. He hits the second from the line.
On the topic of Jordan Hill, hey, there aren't many guys like him with his size who can move that well. He's entering the prime of his career right now. Will he continue to ascend, or will he be content with where he's at? Time will tell.
And really, the Bulls weathered a lot of injuries last season and still had a good showing in the East. Came away with the 3 seed when many thought they would sink down after missing so many games from key players.
Ellis kicks to Hill. Here's George. And that one comes up a bit short.
And no excuse there for missing that one after being free. That's a quick bucket there. Solid in transition.
Well, you know, he loves the chance to get out and run, and we could see right there why he does.
Oh, that was a great angle we just saw, courtesy of Kia. Outside Hill to the inside. Shots good by Turner. Guys, what a back and forth game this has been.
You know what? You're right. Neither side has been able to hang on to the lead for any kind of time at all.
And that's already resulted in 7 lead changes.
Lets it go from 11. Here's Gasol. And so he earns a trip to the line. Officials saw the contact, and he'll shoot 2.
It's been fun to watch Gasol in this one. 9 points and 2 blocks. Excellent defensive presence on the glass and delivering some of that shot blocking skill too.
He has really just owned the paint. Well-rounded performance.
Shooting 2. Shooting 2.
That free throw good from Gasol. Splitters checked in for Chicago. Tony Snell comes in for Jimmy Butler. Then for the Pacers, Allen's checked in for Hill. Budinger comes in for George. Rodney Stuckey's subbed in for Monte Ellis. That one misses.
Yeah, look, you'd like to take the lead on that possession, but at least he was able to tie the game up.
Everyone knows about the Paul George injury from last year and how it affected the Pacers. He said almost the entire season, and there was no doubt they missed him.
Yeah, and when George came back, Kevin, the Pacers got hot, but they had to put him on a minutes limit. And it wasn't just George, though. The team as a whole had a lot of injuries during the course of the season.
Turner with a screen on right. It's back to Hill. 18 feet away, and he knocks it down. Hill's got the game tied up here for the Pacers.
And boy, did he ever sell the pump fake. Worked to absolute perfection.
And, you know, as you said, the Pacers did have problems with injuries. The team roster missed 219 games due to injury. So compare that to the 69 games missed by the Pacers in 2014. Big difference.
Pacers trail by 3. Budinger, the pass to Allen. And Gasol comes to help. The open shot, Stuckey. Offensive rebound, and plenty of contact on the shot. So 2 free throws coming up. And Chicago called for the foul. Now let's take a moment to get your guys' take on the scoring so far for the Bulls.
Anytime you get as many points in the paint as they have, you know you've got a good thing going, and you just want to keep it going.
And also, how about the points they've gotten in transition or on the fast break tonight? That's been a huge factor as well.
The Bulls making a switch here. Mirotic is checked in. Both free throws good from Turner.
And really, guys, the most telling part of the Pacers' injury troubles was this. Had to use 15 different starting lineups over the course of the season. Just hard to stay consistent and competitive when you are always replacing an injured player in the lineup.
Stuckey right side. Good. The assist goes to Hill. And that's 11 points in the game for Stuckey.
The three-point shot has been a real weapon for them in the second half.
Yeah, they've really done a good job of creating good looks from the outside, and now they've really got it going.
They set the pick. Snell kicks to Mirotic. Tried to come right back with the three of his own. It's no good. Stuckey into the lane. Stuckey with another miss. Chicago's gone into the three-point range 4 times since halftime and buried 2 of them. Shots good by Clarkson.
They're forcing the ball inside, and it's working beautifully.
It really is. 5 out of 6 of their last field goals have come from the paint.
Hill dishes to Buttinger. Shot from 12. Here's Turner. Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give him 2 chances at the free throw line here. Block shots, a stat that sometimes doesn't tell the whole story. Big-time shot blockers aren't always elite defenders. And then the opposite is true. Their block shot totals don't quite capture that great impact they really have defensively.
You know, and Akeem the Dream, certainly one of the greatest all-around players to have ever played the game. An endless array of offensive moves down low, no doubt. And defensively, his numbers speak for themselves. I mean, almost 4,000 career blocks, 2 Defensive Player of the Year awards, just a legendary low-post defender.
Shooting 2. Shooting 2.
That free throw good from Turner.
Just a fantastic game for Turner. 9 points, and he's added to his totals by picking up 3 points at the line as well.
Yeah, that'll balance out that stat sheet nicely. I mean, you always want to see at least a few points from the free throw line.
Both good from the line that time.
We're seeing today what makes him one of the best free throw shooters among the league's big men. Beautiful stroke.
And here's Clarkson. He has 7. Here's Mirotic. The rebound by Turner.
The bucket just not well protected, but still he doesn't convert too often. That's been the story with him.
They're straying away from the three-point game here in the second half. And that's fine as long as they're on the lead and they're getting good shots. They've decided not to take nearly as many three-pointers in this half.
Now, here's Clarkson. He's guarded closely. Splitter passes to Mirotic. 6 to shoot. Clarkson kicks to right. Snell from outside. That's good. Snell's got 6 in the quarter.
A wide open 3. They need much better communication defensively.
Indiana leading. Pass to Buttinger. The feed to Stuckey. There's a good screen. And here's Hill for 3. Again, missing Hill. Chicago has gone 3 of 5 with the long ball since entering the second half. Wright with it. He's picked up by Hill. Snell dishes to Mirotic. Off the left rim and out.
And if the shot's not there, you've got to understand that. Move the basketball.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not quite sure what his mindset or what he was thinking there. I mean, it was just a terrible shot.
Splitter passes to Wright. And lots of contact there. Missing the shot. He'll shoot 2. This is his first free throw of the game.
And when he's gotten himself to the line this season, he's come through right around 74% of the time.
I think it's been a disappointing year for him at the stripe, guys. I mean, he hasn't been as productive as he was last season from there.
And the Bulls making a change here. Drummond's checked in. The Pacers also with a sub. George is checked in. So he comes up empty, missing both.
Not a typical trip to the line for him there. He had been knocking them down today.
Stuckey kicks to Hill. Stuckey outside to the middle. That's good from Allen on the assist by Stuckey. Allen's got his first points of the night.
Perfect screen there. Set him up with a terrific look.
Yeah, I like the fact that the setup was good, the screen was solid, but you also have to look at the fact that the defender didn't do his job as well as he could have.
Clarkson kicks to Mirotic. Shoots a fader. Oh, and the buzzer beater's good.
Nice shot there without a second to spare.
You know, as a defending team in that situation, it really irks you to give up a shot like that.
And we're set to start the action up here in the fourth quarter, and if it's anything like the first three, we should be in for a treat. Rose is the one with Butler is the two. Andre Drummond is out there with Taj Gibson, and it's Smith in at the 3 slot. That's the 5 out there for the Bulls. Gibson the screen. Butler dishes to Drummond to take the lead, and the rebound goes to the Pacers. Stuckey's got 3 rebounds now in this one.
More good work on the glass there. When it's all said and done, I think rebounding might well tell the story in this one.
And that should tilt things their way, no doubt. They've been winning on the back.
In the corner, Drummond with it. Drummond with a screen on Hill. Here's Butler. That one a tad offline to the right, but drops in for him. Butler's got 9 points now in just the second hit. Stuckey setting the pick for Ellis. Feeds it to Stuckey. It's hauled in by the Bulls.
He operates well in traffic, but still, that's just a tough play to finish.
Indiana trailing here. Ellis outside. Back to George. There's the dish to Hill. Passes it to George. 11 feet away, and good. He got the English that time as it falls. George has got 20 points. And guys, here in the fourth quarter, still a close game.
Yeah, and actually still too close to call. I mean, this one is tight.
Instant classic, fellas. This one could come right down to the last shot.
Hill, a screen on Butler. It's stolen by Smith. Butler on the way. From the arc. It's hauled in by George. George has got 3 rebounds now in this one. Stuckey. That falls. Nice feed that time from George. And it's a 3-point Pacer lead.
Yeah, the chemistry has been terrific. Really impressed with their offensive execution.
You know, the defense, Greg, has really been kept off balance because of the outstanding passes. 4 straight field goals have been made off an assist.
Stuckey passes to Ellis. He kicks to George. Great D that time from Gibson. For Chicago, they've gone just 1 of 6 from the field to start the fourth quarter. A bit of a slowdown for them right now. Rose goes in, releases from the wing and drills it. Rose has got 24.
Key buckets, and we know he delivers down the stretch.
Time called here. Indiana decides to talk it over.
You know, Jimmy Butler is one of those guys who had to overcome major odds just to get to the NBA. Reportedly, his father abandoned the family when Jimmy was an infant. Mom kicked Jimmy out when he was 13. The obstacles and adversity go on, yet he's made it and made it big.
Something for us right now. Doris?
Kevin, I was able to hear the advice Frank Vogel gave to his team during that last break. He told his squad, listen, guys, it's close. It's about execution here. If we do that, I like our chances. No hero ball, just trust each other and make the simple play. Kevin?
And going back to Jimmy Butler, there were just so many times when he was set up to fail. He was not heavily recruited out of high school. He was even homeless when he was in high school in the Houston area. Went to a junior college, then Marquette, now in the NBA. So he played his freshman year at a junior college, which I think humbled him just a bit, but maybe gave him that work ethic that is so much a part of his game now.
And Kevin, the talent was there, and most of all, as we see how he dealt with adversity, the heart was there. He blocked out the distractions and finally transferred to a major college and worked his way into becoming a first-round pick.
And what do you guys think so far about the offensive approach for the Pacers?
Well, their passing has been picturesque, a thing of beauty in both halves. More than a few of their baskets have come off assists.
Yeah, and the other thing that they've done well is they've really attacked the gaps of the defense with quick, decisive drives down the lane. And how big was last year's trade for J.R. Smith? I mean, sent from the Knicks to the Cavaliers around midseason, Smith began to post some of the better numbers of his career, helping prove that for a tumultuous personality like Smith's, environment is key.
He hits both from the stripe. For J.R. Smith playing alongside LeBron and Kyrie last season, he knew he had a chance for a ring. Clark, he played like it most of the time.
He sure did. I mean, instead of having to create offense, the offense was created for him, served up perfectly for him, and all he had to do was knock down open jumpers, and as a result, his shooting percentages rose after the trade.
There's the pick. Gasol setting the pick for Rose. Sent back by Hill. 6 to shoot, and it's Ellis penetrating. That's good. And now a three-point Pacer lead.
Those defenders look like they're out of gas. I mean, they're getting pushed around on the low block.
Yeah, but they better rally soon because they've given up 3 straight buckets in the paint.
Dishes it to Rose. And again, Chicago. No good.
He's been wayward and just off on about everything he's put up in this period.
George with the bucket.
Nice pass there to set that bucket up.
And that's 10 of their last 12 points that have come off assists.
J.R. Smith on the wing. Gasol setting the pick for Smith. Stolen by George. Here's Hill. And it's Chicago with the rebound. Drummond's got his 8th rebound here tonight. Rose kicks to Smith. Got a piece of it. And it goes out of bounds. That one is off Smith. The Pacers making a change here. Hill's checked in. Pacers leading by 5. Outside, George. Pick up by Hill. And George kicks to Hill. Ellis with it. Butler covering. They set the pick. Shot clock at 6. Portis can't get it to go.
Well, the effort was there, but he just couldn't quite fight his way through traffic.
The shot by Butler. Nobody around. Yes, and it's Rose with the assist that time. Rose has got his 5th assist in this one. Ellis kicks to Hill. He dishes it to Hill. A floater. It's Drummond with the rebound.
Oh, he blew the easy 2 by profile. Trying to look good. That's a bad decision and poor execution.
Smith right side. Back to Rose. Tries to keep it alive. It's rebounded by Indiana. And a fast break now for the Pacers. Ellis with the ball. And he gets the bucket. Ellis has got 4 this quarter.
And I like that they're not settling. Getting the ball on the interior, 8 of their last 10 coming that way.
Sometimes you just got to man up and take a tough foul in order to stop these free runs to the rim.
Chicago calls timeout. Chicago was as strong as they would have hoped for last season at home in the United Center. A lot of big wins for them here.
Yeah, and despite all the injuries, they go 27-14 at home, and that helped to assure them of home court in the first round of the playoffs.
Doris Burke has an update from the sidelines.
I was able to listen in on what Chicago's coach was going over with his team. Derrick Rose was the focus of the discussion, and he wants their offense to run through him. Coach emphasized getting him as many touches as possible, saying he is going to be one of the guys to carry us the rest of the way. So Coach waiting until the final stages to pull a few tricks out of his sleeve. Kevin, let's see if he's made a wise decision.
Thanks, Doris. Smith dishes to Drummond and fouled hard that time. He'll get to the line and shoot two.
You know, you look back on the Bulls' record last year with 27 home wins. That's pretty solid. Same exact total as they had the year before. They haven't gone below 500 at home since 2008.
And a big part of why the Bulls are tough at home is this crowd. I mean, sold out every game last season, led the league in total attendance for 6 straight seasons, averaging over 21,000 fans per game.
Andre Drummond is a big guy. At the NBA Draft Combine, he measured 7 feet tall with a 7'7" wingspan, and he tipped the scales at 280 pounds. That's a super heavyweight, my friends.
And he sinks the second. And on the topic of Andre Drummond, Greg, there are a few guys in the league who combine his kind of size with the type of athleticism he possesses. Fast up and down the floor, quick off his feet, even sports a little hang time. I mean, the guy's got a full package athletic.
You talked about the raw physical tools. Then you factor in the 2 things as a big that I really value: great hands and quick feet. And he's got that going for him. So you can't go through him, you can't go around him, and you certainly can't go over him. I mean, what's left?
We can only hope to contain him, as they say. Rose kicks to Butler. Rose against Hill. Rose attacking, and that is good. Rose has got 26.
Vital basket there. This is just the time and really just the situation when he looks to take over.
Outside Hill. Loses the defender with the screen and drills the jumper. 20 points for him.
A lot of space right there to get that shot off.
Not a very good job of the defender getting over the top of that screen in that particular play.
Smith, beautiful dish, and the layup goes down.
Loose D here. Critical stretch. I mean, you better off sending him to the free throw lines than to have him get that good a look.
Hill with it. Pick up by Hill. George with the screen on Butler. Butler against Ellis. George, that's a 2-pointer. George missing again. Bulls trail by 4. 3-pointer. Butler. It's good. This time the assist from Rose. Rose has got his 6th assist on the night. For Indiana, they've gone 8 of 16 from the field in the 4th, exactly 50%. Hill passes to Ellis. To the middle. And it's sent back by Drummond. Here's Rose. Buries it down low. Rose has got 28 points for the game. Time running low, guys, and somebody has got to win this one.
This game, as close as it's been, you really hate to see it come to an end.
I agree.
Yeah, well, who knows? We might need overtime in this one. It's been that kind of a game. Oh, and look at how well he led him in there. Really, he passed him open for that deuce.
3-on-3. Here's George. Marvelous lead pass, and he throws it down.
Yeah, how about the sharp steal and then run out? It looks like they're ready to put the hammer down.
Well, we've been waiting for one of these teams, Greg, to pull away. Maybe that'll be a springboard for them.
Could be. A dunk like that coming off a great defensive play has to build some momentum. It's been a real difficult game for him offensively, and it's costing him.
Well, that fast break went according to plan.
Yeah, nice job there, Greg. Recognizing the opportunity was there to push it, and then excellent execution.
Terrell Wright's checked in for the Bulls. And the free throw, no good. Bulls trail by 5. To the paint. Here's Butler. There's the killer two-handed slam.
And guys, this game won't be close for long if they keep giving up dunks like that.
No, it won't, G.A. You're right. A glaring error defensively and letting him get all the way to the basket that time.
But it's only 2 points. I mean, it was flashy, no doubt, but still, it only counts for 2. 2 is all.
Inside, knocked away. Corner shot, and the Bulls tack on 2 more.
That's their 3rd straight make off an assist.
Great ball movement.
Clark, one thing we've seen from these guys is excellent ball movement.
And you love to see that, Kevin. I mean, I love watching unselfish play, and I know Greg enjoys that too.
No doubt about it. It's fun to watch the way they're operating as a team right now. They are all in sync.
Looking to end his cold spell, and he was fouled on the way up. 2 free throws now for him.
So far in the game for Hill, 8 rebounds and 2 steals. Excellent defensive presence on the glass and delivering some of that shot blocking skill too.
He has really just owned the paint. Well-rounded performance.
And that hurts as he doesn't get the first one to fall. Trying to focus now on the seconds.
Of course, he didn't have an attempt there in the first half. He's hoping to be a little bit more active and aggressive here and draw some fouls here in the second.
Right with it. Picked up by Ellis. Butler dishes to Gasol. 1:39 left in the 4th quarter of this one. Excellent D there from Hill. Indiana leading. And George, here we go. Butler with the steal. He feeds it to Wright. The shot's good on the assist by Butler. Butler's got 5 assists tonight.
Just enormous, guys, with time winding down. Goes for the steal, and then off to the races.
Yeah, that was big time right there, Clark. That's terrific basketball.
And the Pacers call time here. They're behind by 1. 1:24 left in the 4th quarter. Outside, George kicks it to Hill. Back to George. And there's the 3-second call, this one on the defense. And so he hits the technical free throw.
And he's got such a smooth stroke, and it never changes, even in this kind of a high-pressure situation.
And the Pacers call time here. The score is tied at 104. 1:10 left to play in the final quarter. On defense, the Bulls. Ellis kicks to Hill from 15 feet away. Jimmy Butler with the rebound.
And he's clearly just disappeared here this quarter, not making any contributions here with his offense.
And Greg, it's been hard to watch. I mean, you can see his frustration. He's actually looking forward to the end of this period so we can have a fresh start for the next one.
George with the ball. Butler covering. Hill a screen on Butler. And George, here we go. Hill kicks to Hill. Shot clock at 5. Ellis outside. Kept alive.
Fellas, that's exactly the job the big guy has to do for him. Contest every rebound.
Rose in the post. Hill's there. Timeout called the Pacers. What an opportunity here.
Boy, a chance to take the lead. Huge right here.
Outside, George. Rose from the line.
Check out these handles. That's rush hour handles. Not midday, not early morning. That's rush hour handles. That nasty spin just froze the defender.
Time called here. The Bulls decide to talk it over. They're losing by 2. Just 2 seconds left in the fourth quarter. What's your take, guys?
With this much time left on the clock, I try to shoot from as close to the basket as possible because that way you have enough time for a quick putback if you miss.
On its way from Rose for 2. Yes! And tie game. That is a huge basket right there. George. Oh, it's no good. And we're headed to overtime. Time expires, and we're going to overtime. From the United Center in Chicago. Back in a moment. And what great competition we're seeing so far. After regulation, the stalemate. And we'll see now how these two teams and these few minutes of basketball pan out. All fueled up and ready to go to overtime basketball here, brought to us by Gatorade. Let's check out who's on the floor. On the court right now for the Pacers. Stuckey and George make up the perimeter. Portis is out there with Hill, and it's Hill in at point guard. Stuckey against Butler. Here's Portis. Shot no good. Now Chicago takes it the other way. Here's Rose. Goes up again, and that's 2 points on the layup. Wright's got the lead up to 4 now for Chicago.
Another bucket in the paint. That's something they just have not been able to stop today.
Yeah, the defense is all about disrupting timing and spacing, and what they've got going right now is not getting it done.
Pick up by Hill. George, that's a 2-pointer. Basket is good. The assist from Stuckey. And that's now 30 points for Paul George.
That was George Hill getting in the way of the D right there.
Right, the pass to Gasol. That one doesn't go. It's his 5th miss and 10 shots from the floor. Outside Hill. Pass to Stuckey. Shot clock at 6. Too long in the paint. He's hit with a 3-second violation. Checked in for Wright. We're in overtime and 90 seconds gone here in what has been a great one so far. Pick up by Hill. Back to Stuckey. 4 on the shot clock. From outside, off the mark.
You know, even though he missed that 3-point shot, I think the defense has to do a better job of challenging the shot.
Yeah, as a coach, you can really ill afford to have those types of opportunities presented against your defense.
For Indiana, they've gone 1 of 3 from the floor since the start of overtime. Hill with it, and Rose picks him up defensively. Hill, no good.
The defense needs to play tight on him, and that's exactly what they did to force that miss. Well done.
Rose kicks to Gasol. Here's Butler. Good, and the assist goes to Gasol. 26 points for Jimmy Butler. Pacers trail by 3. Outside Hill. Here's Portis. That's in. That's his 5th field goal. He's shooting a hot 71%. 5 for 7. Bulls have gone a shade under 50% from the floor here in overtime. They've hit 3 of 7. Here's Drummond. Second chance shot. No luck. Excellent D there from Hill.
That's the kind of D you need when he's got the ball near the hoop. They were all over. Wow, what a pass there. He made that a very easy basket with that setup.
And Chicago shooting pretty good tonight at 48%. Here's Rose. Makes good on the step-back jumper. Rose has got 32 points in the game.
And that was pretty. A beautiful move to set up the jump shot.
And the Pacers call time here. Hill. Back to George. Good, and it's Hill picking up the assist. That's now 32 points here for George.
And they're really in a good position here, thanks in part to the way he's been able to score the basketball.
Chicago calls timeout. They trail by 1. There's a minute 47 left in the first overtime. Action has been terrific. Rose kicks to Butler. It's rebounded by Indiana. Hill's got 4 rebounds now tonight. On the wing, George. Down low, here's Portis, and the refs are going to rule that unnecessary contact. It's a flagrant 1 foul.
And Kevin, that's a pretty dangerous play right there. I mean, I don't like to see a player put an opponent in harm's way, as much as you just saw him do there. Glad they pinned a flagrant on him.
Yeah, you're right, Greg. The officials were all over it. They weren't going to let him off the hook that time.
And nice there. He does not waste those opportunities. Just what they needed with this game still in doubt.
Just under 3.5 minutes played in the extra period here. That is good.
Excellent ball movement there, guys.
And that's key to this run. Passing it with purpose. The D hasn't been able to keep up.
Rose dishes to Gasol. And it's sent back by George. And so it looks like the Bulls will retain possession here. Butler. Here's Rose. And he drops in the layup off the glass. Rose has got 4 points now in the quarter.
Boy, he's making it look really easy right now. I expect him to continue to run the offense through him until the defense makes him change plans.
And George, here we go. Laid in with a nice touch off the glass. And the Pacers lead by 5.
Really hard to count how many of their possessions have ended just like that one, with one of his shots falling.
Yeah, that's not a bad way to end the possession, though, and it's the reason this game is coming down to the wire. I mean, his touch from outside and from the field in general has been superb. Talk about being on his game. Look at the numbers for Rodney Stuckey. 18 points and a huge helping of assists as well.
No doubt about it. He's the conductor, the band leader, Clark, and this offense has really performed at a high level.
The Bulls shooting has become shaky in overtime. They're just over 36% from the field. Smith with a wide open look and a miss there on the triple. And now Stuckey running the floor all by himself. Oh, and it looks like that's going to be a goaltending call. Yep, that's it. So they'll get the basket.
He thought he had that one clean, but the ref saw it differently. They'll count the basket.
Yeah, and the crowd immediately letting the officials hear it after that whistle.
Greg, clearly an unpopular call to say the least, no doubt about it.
The Pacers making a switch here. Ellis is checked in. And an intentional foul right there. So the first one drops, and that makes it a 7-point lead. So it gets them both, and it's an 8-point game. Time called here. The Bulls decide to talk it over. They're losing by 8. 29 seconds left in the first overtime. Here's Smith. Hill pulls it in. 24 seconds left in the first overtime. Good chance here for George. Chicago grabs the miss.
Probably impossible for them to come back now.
Yeah, far too much work left to be done and not nearly enough time to get it done in.
That's a 2 from Butler. And again, no good by Chicago.
But that would have been lucky had it fallen. Poor shot selection.
Yeah, look at the coach's face and the expression. It says all over it. Are you kidding me?
So it's Indiana picking up the win. They escaped with a victory, although they needed Clark an extra period to get it done.
Well, I think it was one heck of a ball game. Both teams gave great effort, and the bounces just went their way in overtime.
Guys, Paul George standing by with me here. And Paul, first, congratulations on the win. What's the attitude you have as a team right now?
Continue to, play together. And we can just stick to that, keep working, staying confident, keep defending, and knocking shots down. We'll be all right.
Paul, thank you so much. Guys, over to you.
All right, Doris, thank you. And that's going to do it tonight, folks, for our broadcast. For Clark Kellogg, Greg Anthony, and Doris Burke, this is Kevin Harlan saying thanks for watching
The 2K Sports postgame show.
Welcome back, everybody. Ernie Johnson here along with Shaq and the Jet as we present our Jordan Player of the Game, Paul George. He notched his season high, and his scoring really seemed to set the tempo for his team tonight.
Well, Paul George showing us again tonight why he is one of the premier wing players in the NBA. We know that defensively he's always going to do the job, but he's just as valuable on the other end, scoring off the catch or the dribble.
There was nothing they could do to slow him down, Ernie. Man, go into a building on the road and completely control the action like he did. Only a few players could do that, Ernie. I'm impressed.
And that wraps things up, folks. Thanks for joining us. For Shaquille O'Neal, Kenny the Jet Smith, Kevin Harlan, and the rest of the 2K Sports crew, I'm Ernie Johnson. Good night, everybody.